People, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Saeed TV. We are live. Literally feels like I was live like about an hour ago, but we move. Man United had their preseason game 2 in the morning, finished at around 4 in the morning. But we're here, still ready for Midday Live, the show that brings you kind of the transfer news and topical stuff on your lunch break, wherever you are in the world. LB, what are you telling me?
Yeah, good man. Good. I didn't watch the game last night, obviously, because why would I? What score is it? Did you win? Did you get the dub?
We lost.
Oh, that's a shame, bro. That's a shame. But,
yeah,
big
man,
shame.
Big shame.
Bro. I'm good.
Yeah, absolutely. We got man like Sava in the building. Today, obviously, we'll try to swerve the Mbappe talk. We'll try and go more towards Harry Kane, and we could just slander him. It makes more sense. But how are you, Sava?
I'm good. Yeah, I don't fancy winning some debates this morning, so stay clear of Mbappe.
Wow.
Stay clear of that. No, I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Obviously, but the Bayern officials are in London, so we'll see. We'll see. Everyone's got their fly scanner or sky scanner app, seeing when planes are landing and stuff. So it's all good fun.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And we've got man like Dan Potts in the building. We've got a lot to discuss around Arsenal, but Dan, it's always a pleasure, mate. How are you?
I'm good, man. Always a pleasure speaking to you three for sure. I haven't heard from many Man United fans since they beat Arsenal and won the World Cup. They've lost to Wrexham, Real Madrid, and Dortmund. It's not going the way they've gone, man. Their 5Gs must have gone down because they haven't been messaging me. Maybe they've lost my numbers or something. It's weird. But say listen, because you weren't one of those. But there's a lot of Man United fans giving me a lot of grief when they beat us 2-0, and I haven't heard from them for a couple of weeks now. It's weird.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Maybe that was the kind of the Holy Grail. I don't know, man. Maybe that was just a game that they wanted to get through to. So listen, let's see, man. But people, make sure you hit the like button on the video right now. Just gives you the chance to appreciate the channel and appreciate the content that we do for you guys. So please hit the like button. But we've got to start with the Ramsdale situation, Dan. It's an interesting one. It caused a bit of, I don't know, online it got a bit like, I don't know. It just got a bit weird because a lot of people are like, it's squad depth. People are like, why are we signing Raya? What's going on? Is it time's up for Ramsdale? But what do you think? Like, obviously, David Raya, you're looking at him right now. You're possibly going to make a bid in soon. How did you view that at first before you look at the kind of dilemma between who's going to be number one? Like, where did you look at it from? Because Matt Turner's a decent backup keeper.
Really shocked, man. Really shocked, but in a good way. I think this is what we want to see, competition for places. And with a goalkeeper, it's always interesting because you normally do have the number one and the number two. And I think Mikel Arteta clearly wants to put pressure on Aaron Ramsdale. And I think it's right to do that. He's been fantastic for us last couple of years. You can't sit there and say he's been a shocking goalkeeper, but there has been some mistakes like there is in every single goalkeeper. And I think that at the moment when he's making a mistake, I think as though you just said about Matt Turner, I don't think he's good enough to come in and be the number one long term if Ramsdale was to have some mistakes. And I think it's good that Ramsdale knows that if David Raya is coming in, he ain't coming in to sit on the bench and wait for him to make a mistake. He's going to be on his toes. This is a very good goalkeeper we're talking about here. I don't put them in a bracket of, he's better than him. I think they're very, very on a level playing field. And some would say that Raya had a better season than Ramsdale, the one just gone. So very surprised that Chelsea aren't in for him, if I'm honest, because they need a goalkeeper. Wouldn't surprise me if other teams sniff around him. It's good to hear that Bayern Munich are collapsing with that move and he fancies a move to Arsenal. Thomas Frank apparently coming out saying that David Raya will probably be leaving and he wants to come over to Arsenal. I think this would be a very, very good signing for Arsenal. And what's interesting, Saeed, is what's going to happen next. If we do get Raya, and it looks like we're going to be heavily linked with him, that's £40 million spent, they reckon, on a goalkeeper. And we are still short in other areas, and goalkeeper is not a priority. So if this is going to prevent further signings, I'll be frustrated. But if it is going to add to signings, then we're looking like we're going to have a very, very good transfer window at the Arsenal. I can't lie.
LB, I'm going to come up to you next. Like, shall we just cut to the chase? Like, is this a signing where it's depth, or is this a signing where it's like almost like passing on the guard of, because there's always a manager that makes an imprint, and it's like Ten Hag's done it this month. You did it with Claudio Bravo. I'm not saying that is the situation because obviously Ramsdale was bought by Arteta, so it would be kind of mad to kind of think he's moving him on. Is it being ruthless? Is it squad depth? Where do you look at it in terms of the signing, David Raya?
Honest answer, I have no fucking idea, bro. To be honest with you, because I think you have to say, surely this isn't a squad depth signing because it's 40. It's how much is it going to cost, Dan? Like 30, 40 million quid.
40, yeah, 40. They reckon.
But you don't sign £40 million squad depth goalkeepers, and
Sale.
I don't think I think in my opinion he probably would suit Arsenal a little bit better than Ramsdale because from what I've seen, I think he's. I'm a big fan of Ramsdale. I'd probably have him as my number one England goalkeeper. So it's a bit of a shock. And as Dan said, I think there's going to be a lot of question marks raised by Arsenal fans if this is it. Because why are you not going to get a winger? Why are you not maybe strengthening other areas of the team that need to be strengthened? If we get Raya and still go and buy maybe an attacking player, a winger, striker, whatever the Arsenal fans or Arsenal as a club want, then obviously it's great. But I think it's going to be really weird. There was a bit of a debate going online yesterday on Twitter saying, is it good to have two goalkeepers who are very similar levels? Because then they just sort of like, do you get a number one? And like maybe some people were like, yeah, having a number one, an established number one who's with someone who can push them, but clearly isn't quite as good is the better way. And then there were some people saying, no, having two goalkeepers at the same level is good, but I'm not too sure. So I think it's very strange. I was stunned by the news when I seen it from Ornstein.
I'm with you, LB, and the reason I'm shocked as well. Sorry, Said. The reason I'm shocked as well is I think
go for it.
When we had Leno and Martinez, it was like we're not going to keep them both happy. When we had Cech and Leno, we're not going to keep them both happy. It seems like we've gone back to that now because one of these goalkeepers next season is going to be unhappy at Arsenal, and then we've got to make another decision there because I wouldn't say that Aaron Ramsdale has had 2 seasons that you think, right, let's get Raya in because this guy is hopeless. Yeah. He's been fantastic for us, absolutely amazing. So it was a massive shock to me, and I actually do think Matt Turner needs upgrading. I don't look at him and think, wow, I think he's all right. But if Nottingham Forest are interested in him, that says what level he's at. For me, we need someone better, and he is someone. I'm actually quite shocked that David Raya will want to come to Arsenal. It's good in a way because he wants to fight and he believes he's better than Ramsdale, so we can get the number 1 jersey. And the other way is he going to be happy playing FA Cup and League Cup games? Because that's what will happen. One of them is going to play the Champions League and the Premier League games. The other one's going to play the FA Cup and Carabao Cup games. Now, it's very, very difficult. And, you know, it's funny because I was with Tobes, Matisse and Lawless not long ago at the studio doing a show on Matisse's channel. And Tobes was literally wetting himself when Spurs were linked with Raya. He was like, get in! He's screaming, going mental. Next minute, they're signing that Empoli goalkeeper over he is. And he's like, and now he might be coming to Arsenal. So big up, Tobes. Take that one. Hold that L, man.
Yeah. But you know what it is though, Sava? Do you think David Raya is a better keeper than Ramsdale, in your honest opinion? Do you think it's, or is it now the case of, you know what, football's become a case of, it's not about maybe being a better keeper, it's about being maybe the modern day keeper in terms of can you play out from the back?
Yeah,
all of that stuff.
Listen, I kind of agree with what Dan was saying there. I don't think Ramsdale or Raya are the greatest keepers I've ever seen, but both are good goalkeepers, right? I don't think you'd look at either of them and go, oh my God, I can't believe that guy is in goal for us today. So it does beg the question, is this because Raya's better with his feet? Well, I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying, is he better with his feet? Has Arteta identified that to get to the next level, which is obviously trying to win the league, you've got to be more ruthless? And if that is just small margins from Ramsdale to Raya, I don't know. Could it be, and I think something we always overlook as football fans, could it just be that an opportunity has presented itself and Arsenal feel it's too good to turn down? Could it be that his agent has said, look, you know, David Raya lives in London, heard you guys are on looking out for a goalkeeper. Do you fancy him? We don't know. All I know is this. If you've got those two, you've got 2 good goalkeepers. 1, how'd you keep them happy? Yeah. And 2, what effect does that have? Because once one of them becomes unhappy, what does that then have within the squad? Because in most clubs, you know, like if look at Man United, look at Man City now. I think it's going to be very well known. Man United, Onana is number 1, right? Onana's number 1. Whoever else is number 2. Man City. Right? Ederson is number 1. Whoever else is number 2. That's just the way it is. That's the way it's going to be. If you've got 2 players who are very similar, Does one play Champions League? The other one plays Premier League. Like Dan says, does one play Champions League and League and the other one plays Cups? It's risky, but the only person it matters is what Arteta thinks, right?
Yeah. No, 100%.
So
Just the thing is, guys, I don't know if you know, Dan, is that the Brentford goalkeeping coach or someone who was linked at Brentford is now at Arsenal.
Yeah.
So it does kind of make sense of maybe he's seen that, you know what, Ramsdale in it. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I think Ramsdale thinks he's better than what he is. That's just my own opinion for me. I think he's very, very comfortable at Arsenal. I think in the last year there's been a few issues of kicking in terms of his distribution. Into the pass into midfield is okay where he threads it past in between the lines. It's when he gets pressured. He always kicks it long and it's always going somewhere. And obviously the shot stopping is a bit hit and miss as well. So maybe it's being asked to be ruthless and say, you know what, man, I need to either put competition on you or, like, you know what, just have two good keepers. Maybe Raya, we're over maybe I'm hyping Raya in terms of him being a top keeper, but it is going to be a situation where if you do not fix up, your position will be taken. Like, it is at that level now where he's saying, I cannot allow this complacency. Like, no more.
Yeah, so your first point on the goalkeeping coach from Brentford, that is spot on. We've had so many changes in coaches at Arsenal, it's hard to keep up. But there was a lot of links with David Raya a couple of seasons ago when they were in the Championship, and I've not heard of him. And they said this guy is modern-day goalkeeper, unbelievably good with his feet. He starts setting people up for goals. He's absolutely moving mad in the Championship. And I was like, but he's a Championship. Do you know what I mean? I was all snob. I was thinking, I don't know anything about him. I don't want a Championship goalkeeper. Because at the time, I think there was this debate about Leno and Martinez and stuff. So I thought, well, I don't really want him because if he's going to be better than Martinez, I don't really want him. Then when I actually saw him, I thought, okay, I know who he is now. I can see why we're looking at him. And then Man United were massively linked with him, and obviously you opted to go for Onana. Now, I do think this will be a very good signing because I do think he's Premier League proven. And I think apart from the obvious, the Alissons, the Edisons, he's right up there in the last couple of seasons. He's been fantastic. So I do look at what he's doing and I've been quite impressed. As for the Ramsdale situation, I can think in 2 seasons of maybe 5 or 6 world-class saves that this guy's made for us. It's just been ridiculous. Now, I have to go to the level of David Seaman back that far to think of world-class saves at Arsenal, maybe Jens Lehmann. Everybody else that we've had has been pretty shambolic, to be fair, at Arsenal. So he's been probably the best we've had in a long time. You say, is he better than he thinks he is? Yeah, you're probably right. I think he's cocky. I think he's arrogant. I think he's confident. And so far, it hasn't let him down. I can think of a couple of mistakes he's made. One against Southampton, which was shocking. He just basically passed it to their striker at home at the Emirates. And he got lobbed by about 500 yards at the Sporting Lisbon game. But other than that, I'm going to be honest, I don't know many howlers from Ramsdale. And that's quite good for a goalkeeper because if you think of like our rivals over the last few years, Kepa, Lloris, De Gea, I'm thinking of absolute clangers. Other than Alisson and Edison, I can't think of many clangers that goalkeepers haven't made. So you're going to get that mistakes in goalkeepers. Most of the time, goalkeeper makes a mistake, it's going to go in the back of the net. So it's really, really ruthless from Arteta. If this is going to be Ramsdale, you're going to be out now, and we're going to get David Raya in. But also, you have to look at the goalkeeping situation in the last couple of years at Arsenal. It has kind of been a bit of a mess. You know, someone's mentioned there Runnison. Don't give me nightmares. That guy was an absolute.
Oh my days! I remember that guy.
That was crazy. He came in at a City game, which LB's happy about, and I thought it was my nephew in goal. It was absolutely shambolic. I mean, it was going through his hands and everything. And we've had some shambolic ones over the years, you know. But for me, if we could get 2 goalkeepers in of top quality level, it's only going to be good for the club for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think that's the question now with keepers. Now, look at David De Gea. Listen, I loved him, but it was time to move on. You know what I mean? Like keepers now, like they've got I don't know, like it used to be like, you know what? As long as he was good at saves, as long as he was a good shot stopper, you're all good now. But he's almost like an outfield player now, a keeper, because you have to come out, you have to do what Edison does, sweep a keeper, you have to do what Alisson does. You know, every single keeper now in the league. When you look at it, I don't think there's a traditional out-and-out keeper. Is there any traditional keepers left in the Premier League? Anyone that you can look at and say, you know, he's a traditional keeper? I mean, it's just bog
I think
standard.
The only one is a lot of people might disagree with this because he had a fantastic season.
Pope.
Nick Pope. Yeah. Nick Pope.
Yeah, that's a good one.
He's
Yeah,
probably the one I
Nick
look
Pope.
at, and I'm not saying he's bad because I really like Nick Pope and I think he's done fantastically well. But Nick Pope would be, people in the chat are now saying it. I agree with that. I think Nick Pope is the one at the top level now who probably isn't your original sort of modern day goalkeeper, but everybody else has now got one, I think.
Yeah. But then he might get exposed in the Champions League because of the way teams might press and you might have to play good football. So again, he might get exposed in that area. You know what I mean? So again, it's one of them where, Emi Martinez, a little bit. He can do it a little bit though. He can play out from the back, etc., etc. So, you know what I mean? It is what it is, you know what I mean? But other than that, it's Arsenal. If they get that keeper, that'll be it, I reckon, for me. I don't think they'll be buying
Well,
anyone
that's a
else.
mistake then,
That's correct.
Sayed. That's a mistake then for me, because this is
Okay.
what Dan was saying earlier on at the beginning of the stream of
mistake?
like, if they don't get a right winger for me, I think that's a mistake, man. I think they're gonna burn out Saka if they're not careful. He's playing far too many games. He's still very young. He's still going through. He's still trying to find his way at the top level. You know what I mean of club football. Has he ever played in a Champions League before? You know, he's going to have this to deal with. He's now going to be fully dealing with, expectations of winning trophies. Eyes are on him now, Saka. People are going to be, because Arsenal fans have gassed him up, rightly so, to the top sort of levels. Eyes are going to be on him. And when they're playing in the Champions League, when they're playing in the Premier League, the eyes are going to be on Saka to do something, create chances, score goals. And he can't play 55 games a season. So for me, and this is what Dan was saying, if they get Raya and then they get another winger or whatever, then that looks like a very sort of strong, and he's just been ruthless on a goalkeeper. I think if he gets Raya and doesn't get someone who can help out Saka on that right-hand side, then I think for me, that's probably where they've made a mistake.
Can I just ask on that point, does Trossard play from the right as well as playing from the left?
He does. He's not as effective, but he does. But I do.
Yeah. They need someone more natural, innit?
I'm just looking at how many you can have. I get LB's point, but when I look at Arsenal now and see, if you look at your favoured front three, which is what Jesus, Martinelli, and Saka, if we're going off last year, then you look on top of that, you've then got Kai Havertz, you've got Trossard, you've got Emil Smith Rowe. How many more bodies can you put in there? When we're talking about Saka being burnt out, can no one else go over and cover that for the odd game?
They're midfielders. They're not wingers, are they? Though.
Listen, I'm no.
How many games is he going to be rested? This is the thing. How many games are you realistically going to rest Saka?
You're going to have to rest him for some, but we can't play him every other game. But we're going to have to play him.
So this is my point. So do you need to buy a specialised player that plays that right wing, who knows he's going to play maybe 6 times a year when Saka's rested? Or do you say, well, hang on, Trossard can do a job there for 6 games a season, but also we know Trossard can play somewhere else? I think if I'm a top right-sided player, am I going to Arsenal? If I'm a top right-sided winger,
that's the problem you've got when you're a massive club that are trying to go in now to be an even bigger club. You're going to have to upset some players, and this is going to be one of Arteta's biggest sort of issues this season. And Pep does it so well. He's going to have to rotate and keep everyone happy, and that's going to be a problem. The problem is at the moment, Savo, I know you've just mentioned the names there. You've mentioned, and there's Reece Nelson and Fabio Vieira and all these players on top of it. How many of those are actually good enough, though? There's going to be a huge drop-off, in my opinion. Havertz, forget that, mate. Right wing, no thank you. I don't want to see that. So for me, at the moment...
All right, Dan, let me ask you a question then. What top right winger who's good enough comes to Arsenal right now for a good price and knows that they're playing second fiddle to Saka?
There isn't going to be one that we get that's as good as Saka. That's my point.
Not as good as Saka, but even who's your next?
Well, I mean,
I'm not doubting you. I think you guys are right. I just want to know what sort of a player goes.
Well,
you know what? That's a great move for me.
I think there's two options. So I'm hearing our side that Arsenal aren't going to get a goalkeeper and it's done. I'm hearing we're getting at least one more, maybe 2 more players in the attacking options. That's what I'm hearing. Our side. I'm no ITK, so it could go to pot. Right? No one actually knows what's going on. They're just rumours. Kudus is mentioned. Obviously, there's Chelsea rumours for him as well. Michael Elise was mentioned. That's kind of gone dead as well now. Obviously, up top, there's rumours that we might be looking at a centre forward, and then Jesus can be used as the right winger if Saka is needed for cover, which could make more sense. And there's rumours of Balogun and Eddie both leaving. So I can't imagine that we'll sell both of those and not replace them. So if Balogun, Eddie, Pepe, Tavares, Lokonga, Cedric, Runnison and Holding are all leaving, Yes, some of that's trash and you're not going to get much money for it, but that's going to put some money towards either a centre forward or a right winger. So personally,
that's my point in all of this, Dan. That's where if I was Arsenal, can't believe I'm going to say these nice things about your club. If I was Arsenal and I really wanted to progress, I wouldn't be worried about the right wing side. For me, I think you need goal scorers. Right, for me, I think you can put if you've got Saka who's going to play. Let's be fair, Saka's going to play 90% of your games on the right hand side. You've got Jesus that can drift out there and play there as well if needed. You've got Trossard. All right, he might not be the same as the left, but that can go out there and play if needed. You've got Nelson if needed. For me, where you are falling behind City, for me, is you ain't got the striker. For me, if I was you guys, I wouldn't be worried about your left is fine. Your left is fine. Your right is fine. I think it's up front.
I agree with that, Sava.
I don't think it's right wing.
And I think he's a different profile type striker as well. You know, I'm not going to say that these are the players at the chat and people may be liking if you're an Arsenal fan, but somebody like a Vlahovic who's got different kind of profiled striker. He's that big sort of athletic. He's got the aerial ability. Those types, I can see why we would look at going for a type like that. Whether he's going to come in and smash it like he did at Fiorentina or whether he'd be a flop is obviously different. Kudus has got an unbelievable amount of potential and can play in a number of positions up top as well. I think he played about 15 games last season up top, as well as the right, and can play an attacking 8 as well. I can see us going for those type of players. I still wouldn't rule out Ivan Toney bid in January. I really wouldn't. Would not.
That's a possibility. Yeah, you're right.
You know, so I think you're right, sir. And everything you've said, I can't really disagree with anything you've just said.
Don't get me wrong. Listen, I could be completely wrong. You could go out and get a goalkeeper and a right-sided player. And listen, that's your prerogative. But I do feel that there comes a point where, one, you can have too many players. You've got to keeping players happy. Not everyone's Pep. Pep's brilliant at it. Right, Pep is absolutely brilliant at knowing when to take people out the firing line, when to put them in, when they need a rest. Arteta's never experienced that as a manager.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be a test for him to suddenly turn around and go, Saka, do you know what? I need you to miss out this game this weekend. Saka will be like, hang on, I'm 21. I'm really fit. Why am I want to play. I want to score. That's a tough thing.
The only thing I would say back to that, though, the only thing I'll say back to that, Sava, is sometimes we can't win because 1 minute we haven't got enough squad depth, the next minute we've got too many players. So which one is it? Do you know what I mean? The only great thing about Pep Guardiola is that Man City haven't got a huge squad, by the way. They've just got 20 players that are top quality. They haven't got 30 of them. They've got 20. Or they haven't even got that. I don't know, LB, man. We reckon you've got like 18.
We were looking yesterday. It's not great.
There we go. So, you know what I mean?
Try supporting Spurs. I was looking at it yesterday. It weren't great.
It weren't great.
They need to replace 60 million Calvin Phillips.
We got two wingers, man. We got two.
I mean,
wingers.
Haaland and Gino Alvarez. It's a real tough time.
Yeah, it's tough,
difficult, man. You know, back in the day when we had Mancini, we had 4 strikers. Now we've only got 2. Well,
I know. I mean, Spurs are worrying about who we should play at centre half: Ben Davies or Eric Dyer, and you've got Akanji, Diaz, Ake.
We got 5. And we might have 6 this week, so maybe we can sort you out, Sava.
I hate Spurs.
Give him the stones. Give him a cheeky stones, man. You know what I mean? Give him a cheeky stones.
Let us have Ruben Diaz on loan for a season to teach Romero how to defend. That'd be good.
Yeah, absolutely. But guys, there's one for 1,000 in the building. Please hit the like button right now if you appreciate the content. Like I said, without you guys, there is no channel. So please hit the like button. We're gonna move on to Chelsea. Chelsea are set to sign Axel Disasi from Monaco. People are calling him the French Maguire. This is only what I've been hearing online on Twitter and whatnot. It's not come from the horse's mouth. But Disasi, anybody watched him? Because I've watched him a couple of times, and listen, it ain't easy. I can't lie to you. Hey, exactly. So I don't know why they're buying him. 45 million euros. Is that the going rate for a centre back of that quality?
I don't even know what's going on with Chelsea anymore, boys. Like like Spurs, Arsenal, United. Like I can pretty much name like the starting 11, like the squad. With Chelsea, I don't even know where to start. I don't know what players they have anymore.
Me neither.
I think Raheem Sterling's still there. Do you know what I mean?
He is.
I don't know what's going on with this club, man. And I feel like I'm too.
Don't you think they'll be? Like, don't you think everyone seems to be like, I think they'll do well this season? How do they know? They don't know who the hell they're starting. Like, we got 1 game a week and they got Poch. Oh, right, they're going to go and win the league then with like 18-year-old kids. Like, I don't understand their squad like the moment.
Hang on, Dan. There's a difference. There's a difference, though, isn't there, between saying they're going to do well and they're going to win the league. I think there's a huge difference in that. I think they'll have a good season, but what that means to me is I think they'll get themselves to 5th or 6th. I'm not putting them back up there yet, but this is where Poch thrives. This is where Poch thrives. Young, hungry players. He will thrive. What they've got to work out in the next couple of weeks is who's going, like who's going out on loan, who's staying, because they've got so many. By the way, they've got so many good young players that they can't keep them all around, right? They've got to get some experience in there somewhere. Like I was watching that. Is it Cassidy?
Cassidy,
yeah.
Quality player. Santos, quality player. Chukwuemeka, quality, but they're all young. Like some of them are going to have to go on loan.
I'm gonna bring up their squad right now. This is their squad. For me, the keeper's a bit of a glaring problem. I don't know why they're not sorting out the keeper.
No goalkeeper that's any good enough there, have they?
No, man.
Why did they not go for an armour? Why didn't they challenge United? I'm not saying they would have got him, of course, but like
Raya.
Yeah, Raya's the obvious one for me.
They want that Costa guy, don't they? From Benfica.
Oh, Diogo Costa.
Yeah, Diogo Costa. He's a good keeper, but again, you know what I mean? He's obviously, you have to make that acquisition quite early. Keepers, you have to get them in early, if you know what I mean. So I don't understand that one. Let's see who's going there. Badiashile, good signing. Thiago Silva, 39 soon. Trevor Chalobah's good, but again, he might be kind of leaving now because that kind of slot now has been taken possibly by Decisive in that aspect. Chilwell, anybody rate Chilwell here? Do you think he's
I rate him. I rate him. He's always injured, but I rate him.
I like Chilwell.
And James.
Reece James again, always injured. You know what I mean? Cucurella, anyone rate him?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he was quality at Brighton, but he's had a bit of a shambles, hasn't he?
He did have a remontada towards the end, apparently, though, didn't he? I didn't see it, but apparently he did all right.
I think it's difficult with players like Cucurella that came into Chelsea. Anyone that came into Chelsea last year, no one knew what 11, what formation they were going to play. No one got a run of more than 3 games. I think this year you're going to see, when they're a lot more settled, I think you'll start to see the best of players.
The defenders are actually all right, Said, in my opinion. Like Fofana's out for the whole season pretty much, and he's bad again.
Colwill, he should play this season. Malo Gusto, for me, I'm telling you now, watch out for this kid, man. He's quality. I think for me, he's going to be one of them where Reece James needs to fix up, or else this guy's going to take your position. Bashir Humphreys, not no more. Ian Matson has played a couple of games well this season, this summer in the transfer window. Malang Sarr, listen, man, he was a shocking signing. Enzo Fernandez, good. Conor Gallagher, he could be probably leaving. Chukwuemeka, Onyedurun, Kasaidi, Hall, Santos. That midfield for me as well, guys. That is average midfield, if I'm being honest with you. Apart from Enzo, it's an average midfield. Let's be honest.
It's a young midfield, isn't it? It's a very there's so much talent there. I don't think that's what they'll go into the season with. I really don't. I think they'll bring in someone that will partner Enzo Fernandez. I think they'll bring in
Caicedo, won't it?
I think it'll be Caicedo. By the way, that Caicedo, he is not average. I've watched him 3 times in pre-season.
No, as a collective, though. As a collective, it's an average midfielder.
I don't think it's average. I don't think it's average. I think it's young. I think it's exciting. I just don't think it's experienced enough. I don't think it's experienced. Chuck Caicedo alongside Enzo Fernandez.
I like Chukwuemeka. Chukwuemeka is a ball. I like him, you know. I remember a couple of seasons last season, he showed good promise. I like Chukwuemeka, but I just don't think it's good enough when you look at the Premier League and where you always say you win and lose games in the midfield. If you lose that battle, you've lost the game. So I just think for me, it's a
they've got work to do.
Santos
for sure.
is good.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's young again, but he's a good player.
Yeah, 18 years old. This is where they're actually quite decent in aspects. Mudryk, again, big season for him. Sterling, a pro now. Broha. Ziyech is still there, but he's about to leave. Madueke, again, young. Burstow, young. Gabriel, young. Hudson-Odoi will be leaving to Fulham. Jackson guy has done well, though, to be fair to him. He's actually done well.
He looks all right, Jackson, to be fair.
He looks all right. Yeah, he looks all right. Obviously, Lukaku, they're looking to get rid of. Raya and Nkuku, which I think will be a very, very good player for Chelsea. But when you look at the squad, guys, I've just named you everything. Is the manager going to get the best out of them, Sava? Or is it a case of they might just have to just get top 4 and then just kind of go with that?
Listen, when we're saying getting the best out of them, again, I've said this all summer. I think if the Chelsea fans are so used to winning, right? By hook or crook, the Chelsea fans are used to buying the best in class for the last 2 decades, and they go and win no matter who the manager is. I don't think this is that Chelsea club anymore. I think this Chelsea, you can see there from that squad, this for me this is by design. Sometimes a squad is created through momentum or whatever. This is by design. They've gone and bought a lot of young players, which tells me that the Chelsea fans are going to have to be patient. And I know it's a name people don't want, but they're going to have to be patient. They're not Man City, right? That squad is not Man City's. That squad is not Arsenal's. But have a solid year. If I'm a Chelsea fan, I'm saying to myself, right, if we can get 5th, if we can get 6th and have a solid year, maybe push it in the cups a bit, have a solid 11 that plays once a week, yeah, you start blooding in some youngsters, get a style of football philosophy. That's what we want for this year. The problem you're going to have there is the Chelsea fans, and I'm not knocking them for this, they're so used to winning. I don't think they're going to put up with that.
I agree.
But if they look at the shambles they were last year, that is what happens when you don't have a plan. This year, it looks like they've got rid of all the old players. Look at the players they've lost. It's none of the kids, right? They're getting rid of all the players who are like over 25, and they've built a young squad. Let this manager, I'm not saying this because I'm Spurs before I hear this, let this manager do what he does best with young, hungry players. Let him build, let him coach, and they will come good. But have patience, because if you're sitting 4th, 5th, 6th in the league come January and you're all going Poch out, then what? A new manager comes in, what? You buy another 10, 11 players, then what? You go again. Everyone wants to win now. And if you look at the teams at the top, look at all the teams at the top right now. Man City have spent 7 years with Pep Guardiola. 7 seasons with Pep. This squad wasn't built overnight. This is 7 years of work. Arsenal, this squad wasn't built overnight. This is 4 years of Arteta working. Liverpool, all right, had a dip last year, but that squad wasn't built in 1 year. This is 8 years of Klopp. But Chelsea fans, now. It don't work like that.
That's what the club is, though. The club is built on that. It's instant success. It's now, there's, you know what I mean? You basically, and I think with Todd Bowley, he's such a madman. You just don't know what's going to go on. He had 4 managers last year. 4 managers. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you, right, if you look at all the successful teams, and I know Chelsea, before anyone shouts at me, Chelsea are the anomaly to this rule, right? Because they've hired and fired managers for the last 20 years and it's worked for them. Anyone else who's had sustained periods of success, sustained is the word, by the way. I'm not talking about Leicester City, sustained. Man City now, Pep for 7 years. Man United, Alex Ferguson, 20 odd years. Wenger, Arsenal, 18, I don't know how many years, nearly 20, whatever, how many years he was there, right?
Yeah, 20 years.
Liverpool, Klopp, 7, 8 years. Fans have got to start realizing at some point that, you can keep hiring and firing managers, but if you want sustained plans, projects, ethos, whatever you want to call it, at some point you've got to say, let the manager have years, because otherwise you're gonna go round and round and round, firing managers. And that's great when you've got the Chelsea managers coming in. Imagine you're fired and you walk in and you've got Drogba, Lampard, Terry, Essien. You're like, oh, happy days. Managers aren't walking into that now. So sorry for ranting, but I think patience is needed from a lot of clubs.
Like, you're right, and it's not even about ranting, because what you're saying is facts. But where my kind of question mark is with the Chelsea fans is they've had 20 years of success under Roman. Are they happy to now go, right, we might not win a trophy for 4 years with this young side. It might take us that long, like Arsenal, but are they going to accept that? I don't think they will. I think in a couple of years under Poch, where they haven't won anything and they've spent £700 or £900 million, they might go, I need something to win now. Let's just get Conte back, or let's get Jose Mourinho back.
But the problem is, Dan,
I'm not saying they will, but they might do. They might do that.
But the problem is, it's like people, I've seen people in the chat already saying, but other clubs haven't spent 700 million. The problem is everyone is spending hundreds of millions. This excuse now that so-and-so spent 500 million, they must win the league. It don't work like that. Spurs could spend £1 billion right now, right? I'm not saying we would. We've got Daniel Levy. We'd probably spend a tenner. But we could spend, by the way, Spurs can actually spend £445 million without breaking FFP. That's how little we spend, right? We could go and spend that right now, guys, buying a top forward, a top centre half, a top midfield, a top winger. Do I think we're going to beat Man City to the title because we spent 440 million? No, that don't happen overnight.
Sava, look at the chat now. Look at the chat now. 4 years. What are you talking about? 4 years. Yes, it might take that long.
Yeah.
We're going to plan this long. They're already saying it. 4 years. Joking. It'd be 2 max before we win a title. You don't know that. It could take 4 or 5
Depends
years.
on how they spend it, though. If they have balance in their squad and they actually have a kind of, because what they've done is they've took the deadwood out. A key aspect of your rebuild is if you take the deadwood out and you bring in quality. So if they bring in Caicedo, you can bring in a natural finisher, a keeper. In 2 years' time, they might be challenging for the league, but there has to be a kind of progress to that situation. So,
and that's an ideal world side, though. That's an ideal world for them. 2 years and they're planning for a title. This could take longer than that. We don't know this, do we? Because the kids, look at that squad you've just read out. If you didn't know that, you walked in, you'd think, blimey, they've got a load of youth academy in here. You wouldn't go, oh, that's exciting. That looks brilliant. They're ready. You think, Christ, that's going to take years.
The thing is, as well, just to add on that, Dan, as well, sometimes stresses me out, football fans. They think that everything just goes up in a straight line trajectory. Right. Like, you have dips. Look at Liverpool last year. Like, you don't just get better. People go, oh, well, we'll make signings next summer and we'll become better. That's not how football works, man. You know what I mean? Otherwise, everyone would just get better and better every year. That's not what happens. You have dips. So I think 3 to 4 years is probably right. And to talk about the money, I think the reason why Chelsea was so successful, that model doesn't work anymore. Because as Sava said, when they had Abramovich, they had the Czech in goal, the John Terry, the Lampard, the Drogba. A new manager would come in. They'd go outside a couple of players at £30 million a pop. Them £30 million players are now £100 million players. So fundamentally, and you've also got FFP to deal with now. Fundamentally now, the model has changed. So Chelsea fans cannot think like they used to think because that is done. That is finished. They'll
be when they had Abramovich, they were the ones with the money. They were one of the only ones with the money. Now, like if you're Chelsea right now, you're looking above you going, Arsenal spending, Man City are still spending. Man United are spending. Newcastle can spend. Liverpool will spend. Villa will spend. Chelsea are not the only club now with a billionaire owner that will splash. So when people are saying, if it takes 4 years to win this league title, I'll ask you this. I'll end it on this. All right? Yeah. All of us, Chelsea can go out and buy all the top players they want. And Poch is a great coach and he'll get them playing. But that doesn't suddenly mean that Man City forget how to win titles. It doesn't suddenly mean that Arsenal aren't a good football team.
As if everyone else gets weaker.
Right. Man United are getting stronger. Liverpool will be stronger. I think the Chelsea fans... I'm married into a Chelsea family, unfortunately. So it's a nightmare whenever I'm at a family do.
That's really, really crazy.
Her brother and dad, and it's just... I've got no banter for it because even when they're bad, we're terrible. And... half that family are very much, we win. We don't want your Spursy excuses. Win. The other half are like, we're not that club anymore. And I think that's the difference. You're going to have half the fans in the chat I can already see are like very pragmatic, and the other half are just like, nah, we're not dropping our standards. Well, you have. Yeah. You have dropped your standards, I'm afraid.
And you have to drop the standards because you're not able to do what you used to do. Because as we said, the players that you would have, I mean, how much did they buy Drogba for? What was Drogba, like 20 million or something? Like imagine what Drogba would be in today's money. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not possible. Like, you can't just do that anymore.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're absolutely spot on, man. Let's see. I think Chelsea, if they can get Caicedo, for me, it's one midfielder and a keeper, and they're serious, man. They could be the surprise package of the season. Chelsea could. I know we're talking about Chelsea, and Chelsea should have been known as surprise package, but because they have a young squad, I think they could really, really have a situation where they could have a surprise kind of, package of the season. So let's see, man. Let's see. But guys, it's 1.5K in here. Big numbers on the channel today. But we haven't even hit 500 likes, which is crazy. Like, I don't understand that one. There's currently 400 likes. Come on, guys, man. We got to do better, man. Hit the like button right now and subscribe to everyone's channels. Football Heritage TV, It's LB, and also Football's 12th Man podcast. We can't not talk about Tottenham. Crucial week.
Sava doesn't want to.
Actually, Sava doesn't want to.
Hang on, I'm losing my connection. See you later.
See you later. Yeah, exactly. But don't go anywhere. That's what we say around here.
Don't go anywhere. I love that.
But It is crucial hours for Harry Kane. Bayern officials are prepared for meeting in London with Daniel Levy as direct talks will take place with Tottenham. Bayern will offer more than last 80 million euro package. Respect Daniel Levy as a professional, Bayern president Hainer says. So it looks like we're going into the crucial hours. Boy, it feels like it's just like it's end game now. End game. It feels like it's like can't run
Yeah.
anywhere. Let's do it.
Look, Harry Kane, Jesus Christ. Harry Kane, listen, this has been going on forever. They were meant to meet on Friday. So the initial meeting was going to be on Friday. It was cancelled. Apparently, Daniel Levy cancelled it and made it this week. I said, there's loads of train spotters, well, probably them as well. Loads of plane spotters now going, the plane has landed. They're en route and it's brilliant. And look, if this has got no legs to it, this deal, why are they meeting? Right? There's got to be a massive fire somewhere because there's so much smoke. The big question is going to be, I've said this to you guys week in, week out, how much are they going to whack down on that table? And all of the reports are saying that they're going to come back in with 100 million euros, which is 85 million pounds sterling. And I think it gets the conversation going. I think Daniel Levy realizes now that Kane doesn't want to be here. His body language in pre-season would suggest he doesn't want to be here. It's hard to tell because he's not fit, but look, I'm cool. Just go now, man. It's great. We've had 10 years of our life with him. We haven't got over the line with him. Let's start a new era. Let's let the manager actually have some of that money to buy in the problem positions at this football club. And just buy and put the money down and we stop messing about. So, yeah, I'm bored of it. I'm really bored of Harry Kane's saga right now.
Are you, Sav, I can ask you a question. Are you bothered about the price tag like being 100 M's? You see a lot of clubs who are selling players. I think you've seen that a lot with West Ham, who like are more interested in getting that big price tag sale rather than just getting rid of the player and being able to spend that money and properly invest in it. So if say, because for me, I still think 85 million quid for Kane is, in my opinion, probably still a little bit cheap because of how good he is. But if it means getting that deal done this week to allow Postecoglou to identify players, go get them in to give Spurs a proper good chance from day one of the season starting next weekend, or this weekend, isn't it? Are you happy to accept 85 million? Or would you still push it for 100 and drag it out?
Do you know what? I think if Spurs were a better run football club that was still doing our business in the background and not relying on a Harry Kane sale, I'd say, sod it. Tell them 110. But the problem is we are so bad in the market. We are so bad in the market that it looks like we need those funds to go and buy centre halves. Right? And I'm not even talking about 70 million pound centre halves here. So for me, I think in an ideal world, you turn around and it's awful. But we've got an inflated squad, guys, of about 37 footballers. We've got no European football. Not one of them can defend. I'm going to chuck Romero in that as well. Spurs fans will hate me for saying that. But I feel like we're almost at the point, LB, when I think we need that money to do it. So in an ideal world, I'm saying, 100, 110 or see you later. But if you're offering me now 85 million and that goes and gets us a young forward and two, not top centre halves, but two solid centre halves that can play Ange Postecoglou style football, I'm taking that as a trade. I'm taking that as a trade because I still believe we'll score goals without Harry Kane. I still believe we will score plenty of goals in this pressing philosophy.
Does anyone believe that has? As a rival fan? Because I'm not going to lie to you. I've just only known Harry Kane and Tottenham. And I know you have to always move on. But does anyone believe that Tottenham get more goals without Harry Kane as a team in terms of maybe Maddison scoring goals, Richarlison, Son?
I don't think more goals. I think you're going to score goals because Tottenham will score goals. But I just, it's really hard for me as an Arsenal fan. I feel for him. I really feel for the club. It's just
bloody hell.
Cheers, Dan.
It's a horrible
really
situation.
Bad if you're a Tottenham fan. I would be feeling very bad.
It's a horrible feeling for him.
Dan, do you know where people get this wrong? This is where, do you know what this is? I've had this for a month now when talking about Harry Kane. People say that the words they use are the wrong thing. So people go, if Kane leaves, how do you replace his 30 goals? Well, first and foremost, you're not going to buy another striker that's going to come into Tottenham Hotspur and score 30 goals, right?
No.
But equally, if Harry Kane hadn't have played last year, all of the minutes that Harry Kane was on the pitch, other players accumulate those minutes. So players will score goals. Yeah. I'm not saying they replace all 30, but they will score goals. Second of all, if you do not let in as many at the back, you do not need to replace all 30 of those goals, right? We conceded 63 goals. If you can get 2 proper centre-halves and you take that down to 40, even 45, right? Now, all of a sudden, you don't have to score 4 goals to win a game 4-3 because you can defend, right? So for me, people have got to realise, well, what to your point there, Saeed, what you've known for the last few years at Spurs is a formation and a philosophy where everything goes through Harry Kane. Everything goes through him. Into midfield, up front, everything goes through Harry Kane. What people have got to realise now is this formation, this style of football we've already seen in 2 games from Post-Kane doesn't revolve around Harry Kane, and he looked lost. It doesn't revolve hitting him. It revolved around Basuma driving forward. Maddison was the one on the ball. Maddison and Lo Celso were the ones getting on the ball and dictating and flooding bodies into the box. We will score goals. Of that, I have no doubt. So if Kane goes, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about, can we defend?
Thing is, though, right? This is what I was going to say about it quick, right? Was Harry Kane, unbelievable footballer, like superb. Gave me nightmares every year. The only time that I've ever seen Tottenham close to Arsenal, not winning things, by the way, but close to us in the league position, was with Harry Kane. He is absolutely superb. But he needs to go. And I think Tottenham are in a hell of a lot of trouble without him. And I know what Sava's saying in terms of he's trying to keep positive behind his team. Sava's a very, very, level-headed Spurs fan. There's a lot of Spurs fans out there that are not. However, when you look at it, I do think they're in serious trouble because at the moment I'm looking at their side. They cannot defend. They don't need one defender. They need at least 2, in my opinion.
Easy, minimum.
Yeah, they need to replace. They need to buy a striker because if Son gets injured, they've got Richarlison and Kulusevski. That's it. I don't see another centre forward. So they need to get a striker of some form. I think Maddison's a superb signing, but I don't think it's enough. And I think that a lot of people will say Tottenham are finished, but actually finished from what? They haven't really been competing for God knows how many years. So. No more Rowdy Cups, no more Tiger trophies. Yeah, you're probably right. But they didn't have that. You know what I mean?
That is low, man.
Don't forget our trophy every year, which is beating Man City at our own ground. That's our trophy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
I think they're in trouble.
Believe me, Big Ben's, big up to my guy, Big Ben said, believe me, Spurs will be the new Leeds. The club is bad managed in sporting aspects that the club like Newcastle and Brighton will overtake them. I don't agree with it in Leeds, but I do think Brighton and Newcastle, even Aston Villa for me, watch out for Aston Villa this season, guys. They are going to be serious. And if you lose Harry Kane, is your squad any better than the guys around you? I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think it is.
Listen, I'm not here arguing that. Yeah, no. Listen, as Dan said, I'm an honest Spurs fan. I'm not going to sit here and argue that. But here's the thing: sometimes in the world, whether it be business, whether it be football, sometimes if you remove one big wheel, you get lots of little wheels or cogs that are moving in the same direction. The problem is we've been a one-man team for so long that all we know is to rely on Harry Kane. If we can actually start becoming a team, I'll ask you this. Brighton, do they have a star world-class player like Harry Kane? No. They're all really good players that fit a system. Aston Villa, did they? No. They're all very good players that fit a system. That is what Spurs have to create. So when people in the chat are going, oh yeah, but you'll drop off. We'll drop off at first. Of course we will. We're about to enter a new era with a new philosophy. We've not played any attacking football for 5 seasons. This manager wants to attack. So this year, as a Spurs fan, the same way I said to the Chelsea fans about the patience, on a different level at Spurs fans need to be patient. We're implementing a new philosophy. Some weeks we will batter teams 4-0. Other weeks we will get battered. And that is the ups and downs of when you're learning a whole new system. Pep had to implement a philosophy at Man City. They didn't hit the ground running and win everything in year 1.
Facts.
Klopp at Liverpool didn't hit the ground running in year 1. Right? Arteta's first season at Arsenal, they finished 8th. So I think let this guy have some time. But Dan is 100% spot on. Defenders. Without defenders, I fear for us. Without defenders, I fear for us, with or without Harry Kane.
Yeah. No, I hear it. I hear it. Hopefully, like I said to you, for your guys' sake, you know what I mean, the situation resolved. And it's a big, big week for Harry Kane. We're going to move on to Manchester City. Guys, 1.6K in here. Record show.
Wow.
Record numbers for this show. So please make sure you're hitting that like button. Massively appreciated. Quickly touch on Man City. Man City, bit of issues. I was watching your stream, man, yesterday, LB, man. What's going on, man? You're looking a bit stressed out. I seen you put on your community page, Phillips is not the guy. Like, you know what I mean? Is it Man City brewing? Problems brewing at Man City? What we saying?
Nah, it's just weird. Obviously, we've got the Guardiola deal. That's just been going on for time. No one really knows what's going on with that. I don't know, man. It's just weird situation at City at the moment. We've got two wingers at the football club in Bernardo Silva and Jack Grealish. Is Bernardo Silva going to stay? We don't know. Rumours are that we might be in for Eliseh, but apparently Chelsea want him. City don't want to get into a bidding war. So we do need players, man. We do need players. But like I say, we've got two wingers at the football club at the moment. We still don't know what's going on with Walker. Is he going to leave? So if he leaves, what's going on there? What's going on with Laporte? So yeah, I mean, it is what it is, really. I guess this week I think is going to be a big week because I think this is the week that the Guardiola deal gets done or gets put in the bin.
Worrying times for Man City. Very
worrying times, mate. Worrying times, mate. Maybe a return to Division 2 might be on the cards.
You know what? Here, I think there's a few quotes coming from the Sam Lee podcast. Rico Lewis could be used more in the number 8 position this season for Man City. But you know what it is, though? Is it a case of you haven't kind of almost, you've took it, like you won the treble and it's kind of almost like, I don't know, man, a little bit of hangover and just kind of relaxation? Like, are you wanting to keep the standards high? LB,
yeah, of course you would. Yeah, you do, bro. Because my thing on this is very, very clear. Make no mistake about it. Pep Guardiola is the best football manager in the world. And whilst he's at Manchester City, we need to farm as many trophies as humanly possible because once he leaves, there will be a dip. The main issue that we've had is most of our incomings have been reliant on our outgoings. Because if we didn't let anyone go, we didn't really need anyone. So obviously, Mahrez, that's taken a while to get over the line. Now we need a winger to come in. We don't need a right back. But if Walker goes to Bayern Munich, we'll need a right back, you know? So, and again, with Bernardo Silva, that's one that kind of depends on Mbappe. If Mbappe gets off, I fully expect PSG to make a move for Bernardo. We'll then need to make a move for someone who can replace Bernardo. So we're in a sort of situation where we're okay, but we're only okay if players don't leave. And at the moment, there's still a couple of players that could quite easily leave the football club, you know, because Walker kind of fancies a new challenge, but everyone knows that Bernardo Silva wants to leave. So long as we keep them players, we'll be okay. We still need a winger and ideally another midfielder, but other than that, we're pretty chill. Cancelo as well, that's another weird one. Like,
Barcelona's still after him, though. I think Barcelona, if they could get the money, goody, right? You should have gone for Dembele, man. Like Dembele, 50 million. Know, I'm telling you, man, I could have solved the right wing issue.
Yeah,
he doesn't play the Pep way. He doesn't play the Pep way. He's too direct, isn't he? I don't think he plays the ball possession pass football.
Yeah, Chiesa, mate, from Juventus. That's who I think we should go for, man.
Chiesa, I don't know. I like that Eliseh, me, Dan. I do like that Eliseh. I think he's a decent little player, but like I say, apparently Chelsea want him. So, you know, Chelsea want
everyone, man.
Have you seen Cancelo? Apparently now that the PSG deal is on for Dembele, Barcelona apparently are going to go and get Cancelo and solve the right back issue they've got. That'll be interesting to see what that does in terms of ins and outs at City.
I don't think that does much, that one, to be honest with you. So, no, I don't think so because we're pretty chill. We've got because remember Pep's playing this sort of like we don't really play with wing backs anymore. You know what I mean? We play with effectively
that's true, you know,
4 centre backs. But Walker, the way he plays at City, it might have been different at Spurs, but he doesn't fly up and down the wings for City. Really, he's very sort of defensively. So I don't really think that's a key. The main issue there is just getting him away from the club because apparently Pep don't want him there, and I think most City fans kind of just like, probably needs to go. So. Yeah. No, I don't know, man. It's quiet, man. It's quiet City. We was expecting quite a big
quiet. When you win a treble, I mean, it should be quiet. I'd be still on holiday right now if I won a treble. But like I said to you, it's the standards, isn't it, Dan? You know what I mean? We've been there before. won multiple trophies, etc., etc. And it's like, sorry, Sam, but we love it. Like we've been there, and it's kind of like, what situation is that like? It's how are you excited? I seen you kind of looking a bit smirkish there. How are you feeling?
Listen, I think I mean LB and me have had disagreements about this on my channel about who is going to be fighting for Man City, and I do think it will be Arsenal. I'm not just saying that because I'm a gooner. I genuinely think that. I think the window we've had has been fantastic. Now, I've no doubts that Liverpool, if they get their transfer window right, could be right up there as well. But one thing I'm not going to do is be naive enough to do what Liverpool fans did last season and say, wow, Man City got rid of Jesus, Sterling, they got rid of Zinchenko. They're there for the taking. Because I know for a fact that Man City's squad right now is not going to stay that way. It will definitely be improved. Gvardiol, I believe, will be coming into the football club. They will get at least another attacking midfielder, stroke winger. I believe that will happen. They will get another fullback if Kyle Walker goes. Pep will make it work. Or they won't get one and you'll think, cool, they look weak there. And all of a sudden, John Stones will play there or something like that. And it will just be magnificent. So that's what he does, man. He's a genius. And it doesn't matter who we buy, Liverpool buy. I'm still having Man City as favourites to win the league because why would I not? I am being cheeky because obviously I like to wind up LB, but I do think Man City will be fine. He's worried about there being two wingers at the club. I wouldn't mind the two wingers he's got, to be honest. I wouldn't mind them at my football club. I think they're top quality. So Man City will be just fine, man. They will.
Yeah, listen, man, and then obviously got the situation with the Charity Shield coming up as well. So again, that'll be a big indicator as to where we could come in the Charity Shield and Man City batter Arsenal, and all of a sudden it's like, yo, Man City are there and da. So
could happen.
We'll have to wait and see. But people, we're going to wrap it up here. It's been a very, very good show. Just closing on the hour. 1.5K still here. We are live every Monday. As you can see, it's called the Midday Live Show. Whether you're on your way to work, whether you're in your lunch break, we're here to provide you entertainment for an hour on your lunch break. So who doesn't give you that, eh? Who doesn't give you that? But Dan, it's been a pleasure. Let them know where they can find you. Big up to you as always, mate.
Mate, big up to all three of you and to the channel. Make sure you're liking and subscribing to this one, people. I'm going to plug my stuff if I can, because I am literally only 120 something off of 11K. So that'd be amazing if we could get that today, people. I would be so much in love with you all for doing that. Football's 12th Man podcast, please. That'd be amazing. And if you do want to follow me on socials, it's there on Twitter handle, DanArsenal87. I'm on Instagram as well. So cheers for that, Saeed.
There you go, man. Big up to you, man. LB. What are you saying, man? You putting out the content. Big up to you, man.
Yeah, man. Personal channel, It's LB. Twitter, It's LB. For the sort of standard shit, and obviously City Extra for your more Manchester City focused content. So big up, boys. Good shows always. And maybe next week, actually, maybe it'll be a good one because maybe the Kane thing will be done, and then I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how Sava reacts to that. Be really interesting.
Sava will react like this.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. I get a box of tissues for you,
mate. Like you got the wrong fan. You got the wrong fan. LB, honestly, mate.
I don't know.
Look, all right.
Honestly, I just want to see what you take. Once it's done, I think it'll be interesting to see what you take is once it's done.
The same, as long as we spend the money well. Bring the tissues though. Bring the tissues. Listen, thanks for having me on. I really enjoy these shows. Letting my small club take part in these conversations. Football Heritage TV. So a lot of Spurs stuff, but as the season goes on, I'll be doing more and more covering other clubs as well. And we hit 8K last night and already on 8128. So thank you to everyone that subscribed. If anyone does want to help me edge towards that 9K. In 15 months, I'll be well happy. So please subscribe and subscribe to everyone here. Really good content creators that talk a lot of sense. So thank you.
Yeah, man. Absolutely, man. Big up to all the mods. Big up to everybody who's locked in. And like I said, I'll be back 5 p.m. for the Straight Jacket podcast. There's a lot to discuss, man. A little bit issues at Man United. So we need to discuss that. So 5 p.m. me and Nuruddin. We'll see you there.